When did another parent traumatize your child? My cousin called me sobbing so hard she could barely speak, and what she told me made me want to drive straight to her house and shake some sense into her husband. Their 9-year-old son, Ethan, had cried during last week's baseball game after getting hit by a pitch, and her husband decided to teach him a lesson about being a real man that still makes my blood boil just thinking about it. Her husband went into their daughter's room and pulled out her old dance recital costume from 2 years ago, which was a bright pink tutu with matching tights and ballet slippers, plus a sparkly tiara that said princess in rhinestones. He laid it all out on Ethan's bed the night before practice and told him, since you want to cry like a little princess when things get tough, tomorrow you'll dress like one. Maybe wearing this to practice will remind you that I'm raising a baseball player, not a ballerina. The next day at practice, his father made him put on every single piece of that costume in the car, including the tights that were too small and the ballet slippers that barely fit his feet. When they arrived at the field 20 minutes early, his dad marched him right out to the pitcher's mound in front of early arriving teammates and made him do ballet positions instead of regular warm-ups, while loudly explaining to gathering parents that his son needed to learn what happens to boys who can't control their emotions. He actually pulled up ballet positions on his phone and commanded, "First position, now second. Hold it longer, princess. We want everyone to get a good look at what happens when you embarrass me by crying over a little bruise." When I got to the field after my cousin's call, the damage was already done because other kids were laughing and taking pictures while their parents stood around looking uncomfortable but not saying anything. Ethan was trying to do jumping jacks in the tutu while tears streamed down his face and his father kept yelling across the field for everyone to hear. The coach finally intervened, but only to say practice was starting and Ethan needed to change into his uniform. But his father announced, "He's practicing like this today, coach. My son needs to learn that tears are for girls, and if he's going to act like one, he'll look like one." I pulled his father aside and asked him what the hell he thought he was teaching his son, and he actually smiled. "I'm making sure my boy doesn't grow up soft like these other kids with their participation trophies and safe spaces. When I was his age and cried, my old man made me wear my mother's apron to school, taught me real quick that men don't cry." When I asked him if he realized he was teaching his son that showing emotion equals humiliation, he laughed and said, "Good. Maybe next time he'll think twice before blubbering like a baby in front of his whole team." I tried one more time to get through to him by explaining that he was teaching Ethan that femininity was something shameful and disgusting, which would affect how he treats women his whole life, but he cut me off. "Listen, in the real world, nobody's going to coddle him when things get tough. Better he learns now that crying gets you nowhere. I'm doing this because I love him." I asked him the question that finally got him to stop talking. "So when Ethan's 16 and gets his heart broken for the first time, are you going to be the dad he calls crying at midnight? Or are you going to be the dad he hides from because he's terrified you'll make him wear a dress to school?" His face went completely white, and he opened his mouth 3 times, but nothing came out because we both knew the answer, and it was killing him. He just stood there staring at his son trying to do push-ups in a tutu while other kids filmed it on their phones, and for the first time he actually saw what he was doing. He whispered, "I just wanted him to be strong," and his voice cracked like he might cry himself, but he swallowed it down because even then he couldn't let himself feel anything real. The practice ended with Ethan changing in the car and refusing to speak to anyone for 3 days. His father eventually apologized, but still insists he was trying to help, and my cousin says Ethan quits every sport now the second anything goes wrong because he's terrified of showing any emotion that might disappoint his dad. The boy who used to love baseball won't even watch it on TV anymore and flinches whenever his dad raises his voice.